Did your grandmother convince you to break up with Sterling in those early years when y'all broke up? Like, what is this?
Mother Palmer is open and Mother Palmer is letting you know, okay?
You can't do that in a sex scene with mother freaking Boris Kojo. I always wonder whenever I'm dating, like, is somebody gonna have a problem if I have to do a sex scene or if I have to kiss somebody, or like, what is that vibe like? How do you grapple with, like, everybody gonna see what my man got going on?
Motherfucker, who the fuck are you?
Let me finish my part. So you had naked titties on Boris's chest? Is he like,
oh my gosh! As always, Mom, I'm starting this conversation with you. I mean, Sharon, tell the people how long you and my dad have been married.
Oh my God. I think it's 36 years. It'll be 36. We've known each other for 38. And then we've been married for 36. That's a long time, huh?
It is a long time. And I imagine you guys, I mean, you met Dad when you were 19. You're now, I don't know if you want to tell the people your age or not.
I'm almost 57.
Almost 57. That is so amazing. You went through a lot of different changes, right? I mean, from 19 to 57, how many different people you think you were?
Oh my gosh. Well, at 19, I probably was obnoxious. Because, I was very fine.
You are still.
Yes, I was quite the looker, so I probably was a bit arrogant and angry. And, I came from a family of fighters and aggression and, I'm going to get you before you get me. So I imagine I was a handful at 19.
Yeah. I mean, through those changes that Dad saw you go through.
Yeah.
I mean, well, let's just walk down it. So in your 20s, you were kind of obnoxious, a little extra, maybe arrogant. What were you like in your 20s? Or your 30s, I should say.
In my 30s, I had mellowed out quite a bit. I had, obviously, 2 children. Had, struggled a little bit, was trying to finish school and work. So probably by the time I was 30, I had gotten back into church. I was a choir director. At the church, I think I was probably good. I think 30 was when I really started feeling good about myself.
How did those changes affect your relationship? Or maybe even the other way around, how were those changes prompted by your relationship with Dad?
For me, being a mother changed me quite a bit. It made me realize that I was responsible for someone, and that they were monitoring, my behavior. And Larry told me that quite a bit. I use profanity quite a bit. And as I start having kids, Larry would tell me, look, I don't judge you. Do what you want to do. Cuss, I love you, but try not to do it in front of the kids as much. You know what I mean? But he never, in our 36 years, has he ever tried to change me. Like, he has never set me down and said, I want you to change. He's always accepted me for who I was. He's always said, be you, do you. And even when I've done things that he didn't agree with, he would say, I don't agree with that, but I love you and I support you. But not blindly. He never supported me blindly. Like, I had friends, their husband let them do all kind of crazy shit, and they would be like, well, that's my wife. My husband wasn't no dunce like that. He would just go, I don't agree with that.
He held you accountable. Yes.
But he held
you
let
you be you, but he held you accountable when something was, not conducive to y'all's relationship.
Absolutely. And he didn't keep bringing it up. Sometimes people say they forgive you, but they really don't. I think that people should aspire to find people that enhance who they are, right? You shouldn't find somebody, oh my God, when I found this man, he made me who I was. I would be nothing without him. No, I was somebody, a really good somebody when I met Larry. But I will say he enhanced who I was. We enhanced each other. I had brought qualities to the table that enhanced him. He brought qualities to the table that enhanced me. And so we enhanced each other.
Has there ever been a time where your individual growth or your individual stagnancy, and maybe you have a story for both, but has there ever been a time where that impeded your relationship? Because I think there is this idea, like, there's this popular quote from Eartha Kitt where she was like, compromise for what? And, but I do think in order to have a marriage, there is compromising. I don't think that there's any way that you can decide to live your life with another person, even your kids, and not have to compromise or grow past something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I would think that two things, that he compromised and I compromised as well. I think when I was about what was I, like 34 or 5 or something, he came to me and said he wanted to join the diaconate. He wanted to be a Catholic deacon. And in part of being a Catholic deacon, your wife has to go and take classes for like 4 years. And I was like, what? Like, I already know about Jesus and the Bible, and I was a student Sunday school teacher. No thanks. And he basically said, look, I can't do this without you coming with me, because the thought is, I'm going to be going to all these classes. I'm going to be learning about how to be a deacon. And then you're going to be at home. And then we could possibly spiritually grow apart. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And so I was like, I just don't want to do this. I don't want to be stuck in no Bible class or nothing like that. And so finally he said, look, let's just go to a couple of things. If you can't do it, then I won't do it. And I finally asked him, I said, why do you want to be a deacon? Like, you already feed the homeless, okay? You're already feeding the homeless.
Not you sounding like Michelle Obama trying to stop him from going for the presidency.
Well, what I was saying is that you already feed the homeless. You already doing the things that a deacon's supposed to do. So why do you need the title of deacon? And he said, it's not about the title. It's just about me keeping myself committed. And if I go through this program and I take a vow before the church, then that means I'm going to be committed to helping people. I'm going to be committed. And when he said that, it resonated with me. I said, okay. And so then when I started going to the classes, it was kind of like therapy. Right. It was kind of like therapy. Like, it wasn't we sat down and focused on Jesus and the Bible. We did some of that. But for the most part, it was just us talking about our lives.
Yeah, a little bit more Socratic.
Yeah, and I think that really strengthened our relationship, and it really, brought us together even more. So I think that was something that I changed and I worked on. And then I think when we went to California, when we really decided, okay, let's uproot our family, let's go to California. And I think Larry had to change, right? Because he was the primary person at home with the 2-year-old twins, and that was new for him,
Oh, yeah.
'cause he was
and
used
away
to
from his
working.
brothers and his family.
That's right. And he was used to working. So then he had to, in a way, become a Mr. Mom. And he accepted that role.
Yeah. It was a major sacrifice that helped us to build what we have now. So
yeah, so those were the two instances where I can say where I compromised and I kind of just, let go and went with the process. And I'm very thankful. And then he trusted me and the process enough to let's move to California.
Well, I think that's so interesting because it also feels like there's that act of selflessness for that individual to grow in their own individual way, but you supporting them, whether it's dad trying to become a deacon, which he ultimately did, and we all folded into that, but it was really for him, and we supported him in that, or you and I going and doing the California thing where everybody had to kind of be in this new role and position to support us on something that was really more or less an individual pursuit that we were all going to benefit from. But both of these things are individuals. And I think that's exciting for me. And I think I've always felt this way because I obviously seen you and dad. But I really do feel it's so important when you're in a relationship with someone that your drive or your ambition or your purpose or the sense of just otherness that you feel outside of your family, that you feel for yourself, I think it's important to pursue. And I think it's also equally important that your family, the people, your loved one, your partner, your whoever it is that you consider your family is supportive of you in that.
I totally agree. And I just your dad and I, we've been together a long time, but I will say if anyone were to ask me, well, why do you think you've been together for so long? How did you survive? And I just really think we started off the right way. We
And what is that?
actually dated. We actually went out on dates. We actually talked on the phone. We actually really liked each other as people. We liked the same movies. Like, I remember the first time your dad took me to see Boys in the Hood. And I never heard of it, and I thought it was crazy. I was like, Boys in the Hood? What the hell? Where is he taking me to? And I just remember us sitting in the theater watching Boys in the Hood together and holding hands and realizing we were watching something that we had never seen before. And when Ice Cube says, and I'm paraphrasing, but on the porch, he's sitting on the porch, and his brother was just murdered. And he says, people don't know what's going on here. They don't know what's happening here. He was talking about how he could turn on the television and he could see them talking about murders and stuff that was going on all over the world, but nobody was talking about what was happening in South Central. And that was just so touching to me. And then I remember us going to see Ghost. And at the end, when Patrick Swayze is like, it's so beautiful here. And I look over at your father and tears are just streaming down his face. We made those connections because he felt what I felt. And I said, this guy is the one, because he's able to feel the emotions that I'm feeling.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've seen you guys have so many different personas over the years. Has there ever been a time where you thought you and dad were growing apart? You guys had to spend a lot of different times just from working with me in my career separate from each other. Because I imagine it would create some fear. Did you ever get scared or feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to lose my husband? Or did dad ever think I'm going to lose my wife? Or did you guys ever think of divorce at any point in time?
I don't know if he ever thought it, but I never thought it. But there was a moment when you and I were always on the road, and we were always on the road. And then I would call him and I would say, oh, this happened today. And I noticed he was very quiet. And I said, so what's going on? He's like, nothing. I'm just here with the twins and, da, da, da. And that was when I realized, I was like, he doesn't understand what I'm saying. He doesn't know what it's like to be on a set, because he has never been on a set as much as I have. And then that's when I started devising a plan. And the plan was every other time he would go with you. So instead of me going to a movie with you, he would go with you. And that was a big help to our relationship, because then he would call me and say, well, this happened on the set of Joyful Noise. And then we would laugh together because I knew what he was talking about. And we would just laugh together, and he just would have a good time. And he just, that really helped us. Now, I don't know if it saved our marriage, because I don't know if our marriage was in trouble, but that did bring us closer together. And it also made him.
But you're paying attention. I think that's really important too, that I'm hearing. Paying attention, watching and seeing and understanding. Okay, there's something going on here. Or wait a minute, there's something different in me. Or all these little
right. And
things,
I knew he was so very proud of you, and he loved you so much. And I just wanted him to be able to share in
my
that
life.
world. That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. It definitely made a difference. I look back on it now and I'm happy, because I'll be honest, I think at a certain point, it would feel like sometimes I didn't know my family at home, because I would be going and working for like 3 months on some other place, and I would feel like, do I know my family for real? So obviously it was a big help when we did True Jackson VP, because that kept me home and stable, and I wasn't, flying around too much. But before then, it very easily could have created a detachment. So I think you guys were really smart to do that, and to make sure that we all stayed connected as a family.
Right, and it wasn't just to help the relationship of Larry and you, but it also helped my relationship with the twins and L'Oreal.
Exactly,
because I was able to stay at home with them.
Yeah. Okay, I got to get into my conversation with Sterling K. Brown and his beautiful wife, Ryan. But Mom, you're amazing as always.
Awesome. You too. Talk to you later.
Baby, this is Keke.
Buckle up, kids, because today you are in for a treat with Valentine's Day around the corner. Love is certainly in the air. And even though love isn't always like it is in the movies, these two definitely have a Hollywood-worthy love story. I'm so excited to get into it with my guests today, who are going to help answer the question, what is the secret to growing together in a long-term relationship? Please welcome to the show the beautiful duo Sterling K. Brown and Ryan Michelle Bathe. I love y'all. I see y'all everywhere in these streets. It's always love. Like, you guys are always looking fabulous, smiling. Also, Sterling, I have to just say, I just saw American Fiction. Amazing movie. I love the way you play your characters, but especially as a hetero male playing a queer character, I really respect the honor, you know what I mean, and the nuance that you brought to it. So much love to you for that. It's always good to see you work. But today, we are talking about love, something that you guys don't shy away from talking about and showing. So we talk a lot about on this show, love and relationships. And today I got to first start with your how you met story.
That's a long one. How many minutes we got? Yes.
30-second bullet point. Elevator pitch.
We can start like this. We met freshman year college. We both went to Stanford University. We did our first,
Come on, Stanford.
you know, we do something over here. We try. We did our first play together. It was an August Wilson play. Joe Turner's Come and Gone. We were friends for a long time before anything romantic ever transpired. We didn't get together till the end of junior year. Then we dated all the senior year. And then we went to grad school together at NYU as well. Dated off and on. Then it was a 3.5-year break where we were sort of out of each other's lives. She was in serious relationships. I was in serious relationships.
No.
And we reconnected over a pilot season in LA, and we've been together since then.
Oh my gosh. So guys, pilot season, for anybody that's not aware of that, pilot season is like, you know, January, February, March. It's like when actors, if they don't live in LA, they come to LA. If they're already in LA, everybody is working, trying to figure out, hey, I'm about to get me a show. I'm about to find a show. And for us, a show is really good as an actor because most of the time we out of work till we got a job. So if you got a TV show, you hoping that you get like a Grey's Anatomy situation and you got work for like 11 years. So it's like a big thing. But okay, first I want to go back to you guys were just friends. Did either of you already know that there was chemistry there? You know what I mean? And you were like afraid you were going to get in the friend zone? Or were you both oblivious to the romance that could happen?
Good, Bert.
That is a good question. I think we were never aware of the other person that way at the same time.
Ooh, yeah, like maybe at one time you liked him or he liked you, but like it was always like, you got confused.
Exactly. And so I tell the story and he doesn't, I kind of sort of remember this,
Go ahead,
like at the beginning of us being friends, living in the same dorm, he was very, he friend zoned me. He treated me like a little sister. He would do all kinds of little things to like, you know, he would always wrestle and do all kinds of things.
But that also kind of sounds like flirting, actually, too.
No,
it do though. You know when a guy likes you, he's like, man, you sis, and it's like you don't want to fuck your sister. No. He was flirting for real. I swear he had to be.
He thought I was annoying. He thought I was loud. I'm loud. I'm always like, you know, and he was just like, oh my God, does she ever shut up? And the answer was no.
And he loved every minute of it, clearly. So at what point, like, who broke the friend zone thing first? Like, was it an action? Was it a kiss? Was it a date? Okay, what happened, Sterling?
It was me. See what happened, Keke. I had watched this woman sort of navigate life, and she was dating a friend of mine. And the dude was a cool dude, but he was also sort of like known for his philandering ways.
Yeah, he's a player.
Yeah.
Cheater.
Yeah, not a cheater, but a cheater. Anyway, so she caught him like sort of red-handed, messing around with stuff, and she was so cool about it. It was like almost like that tiger went tiger. She wasn't like angry. She was like, no, this is what Negroes do what Negroes do when they do that thing. So she's like, all right, you go off to the side. I'm done with you. You showed me who you were. Cool. And I was sort of like taken aback by like, yo, this is an 18-year-old woman, not freaking. She didn't freak out. She was just like, no, we're done now. Thank you. That was fun. Cool. And
In
so
true
there's
Leo fashion.
there's this maturity about her that I was like, yo, she seems sort of silly sometimes. And we're all still silly, but she's also deeply grounded in what she knows what she deserves. And that's what really sort of like turned the corner for me, is like this person who I think is cool, maybe even more than just cool. So I got real weird, Keke. I had no game at all whatsoever. I talked to my friend. I obeyed the rules. I said, yo, bro, I know y'all done here. I just wanted to make sure before I say anything, would you be
That's classy
cool?
of you.
Would you be cool if I said something? And he's like, yeah, cool. Now, little did I like, he thought I had no chance in hell. And I pretty much didn't, because I basically just rolled up on this chick and was like, yo, I think I love you. And she was
Wait
like,
a minute, Sterling. This is turning into a bit of a movie at this point. You rolled up like, yo, I think I love you?
No.
I'm trying to give it facts.
Okay,
I'm trying to do it
like,
facts.
he stole my bike. He stole my pillow from my room. Like there were all, it was like a crow, but the opposite of a crow. You know, they leave you gifts. Like I was like, is he having I didn't know what was going on. And then finally I was like, you have to tell me what's wrong with you, because I think something's wrong. And he was like, so I love you. And then he ran out of my room.
Oh my God. Wait a minute.
As a picture.
That is so freaking cute. So what were you thinking, Ryan? Like, were you like, did you feel like maybe that you could love him back? I mean, obviously you just got out of a relationship, so I don't imagine that's what you were thinking, but you felt something.
She was already probably in another relationship, weren't you?
I wasn't in technically another relationship, no. But there were some brewings afoot.
Rye is a catch. So she
obviously is. You guys have been together for so many years. So I think I also have to ask, what did you learn from each other that you actually took into your careers, right? Like, was there any type of swapping, or was, that you learned that you feel like you used that the other gave you?
Come on, Keke. Look at the questions. Come on, Keke. That's why you be winning. Yes. What you got, Bert? What you got?
That is a really, I'm fascinated by the question, because I don't have a ready answer.
And I guess the bigger thing I'll even say is this. Like, I remember there was this quote, and I'm going to butcher the quote, but Michelle Obama, she was seeing, like, she went back to her old town or something, and the guy that she was dating, he owned a restaurant. And she was talking to him, and he was like, well, if you married me, you would have been the wife of a restaurant owner. And she said, no, if I married you, you'd be the president. And so what I'm asking is, like, I don't think either of you would be what you are without each other.
No,
I guess I'm saying, how did you get there?
I would agree with that. So here's the blessing and the curse of Ryan and Sterling. We are competitive people.
I love it.
We are competitive people. Like, if you see Ryan on a softball field with a 10-year-old child and he's about to catch her, like, he better move out the way, because Ryan Michelle's gonna run his little black ass over.
Okay.
Like, he'll get ran over, and then she'll apologize after you on the ground, right? Facts. Thank you. So I think the competition is like, we're both, like, out of our classmates, only a few of us are still doing this acting thing. A lot of people have gone into producing or yoga instructing or special needs education, like, and the acting training served them in what they're doing now, but very few of us are still doing this thing. And I think Rye is driven. I think at the end of the day, I'm competitive. I think my wife even like takes me up a tick.
Yes.
And so there's positive, and then there's friction. And we're trying to learn how to just deal with it.
I will say this. If I think you would be the type of person who would never, ever, ever, ever go anywhere. You don't want to go on nobody's red carpet. You don't want to go to see, unless you know for a fact you can go and get a kiss from Meryl Streep. You don't want to go nowhere. You don't want, unless it's a sporting event.
Love Meryl down, though. Love Meryl down.
Like, love Meryl. And this one, he's like, he's like, is Meryl going to be there? Then why should I go?
Girl.
I think that I may have sort of encouraged us both to kind of like do that a little bit more and be a little bit more comfortable with all of that.
Sure.
I also feel like on the flip side, I don't have that FOMO.
Now, Ryan, I gotta ask, because when I heard this was crazy. Did your grandmother convince you to break up with Sterling in those early years when y'all broke up? Like, what is this grandmother piece? What was your
It
grandmother
was my
doing?
grandmother and my mother, and my grandmother has passed. My mother is still with us,
Rest in
thank the
peace.
Lord. But my mother and my grandmother both saw themselves as people with the sight, and they knew things,
Ooh.
and they, so they felt very strongly that this was not just a bad look, but like he was going to, that I was in danger. And
Really?
I grew up with this phrase, your obedience is your safety, right?
Mm.
You listen to us and we will keep you out of danger. And so when we first started dating, that was the phrase that they reminded me of. Remember, we told you your obedience is your safety. And we know it. Grandma and my mother called her to tell me, and it was just, there were tears and much lamentation. And so, yeah, it was deeper than that, but I'm trying to kind of give you the bullet points of it.
Yes. I mean, did you tell Sterling this?
I didn't know what to say because it sounded crazy when
That's
I said it
heavy.
out loud.
Sounds
know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't really sound crazy if you are somebody that's rooted in spirituality. Like, I could totally see my mama being like, I had a dream that blah blah, and then being like really shook about it. So but if you're not like, if you're not familiar with that kind of grandmama stuff, then maybe it's weird to you. But to me, it makes total sense. And even if we take out the whole sight aspect of it, family being involved in your relationships and saying they know what's right for you is something that anybody can relate to. So the fact that you guys were able to overcome that, I mean, seriously, I done really lost some folks because family couldn't stay in family's place. So how did you get through that? Like, that's really when you say, this is my person and I'm going to start my family with you. And that's a hard jump, especially if you come from a close family.
Keke grown. She has to grow.
He is real grown. You guys,
I'm trying to learn from y'all so I can be grown and intertwined.
in the house. Mother Palmer is giving shit open, and Mother Palmer is letting you know. Okay.
That's a good question because I think we did let them in too much.
Very much, but not at the beginning of our marriage. I think by the time we got, and I think this is if there was a silver lining to all of the breakups and makeups, all of those things, by the time we got married, I think, and we still had a lot to grow once we got married. So let's not, but by the time we got married, that big hump in terms of the family aspect had been, it still needed to be refined, but I think it was dealt with in like in a real way, a lot of therapy on my part, but completely separate from him.
Yes.
And using what happened in my relationship with him as a springboard in therapy to try to unwrap and unpack what it was and like how to leave and cleave your family, cleave to a new family.
For you and me both,
Yeah.
like we love our families and we appreciate their presence in our lives. They just have to know that they come second. And that's a weird thing after them being first for such a long period of time, of like really authentically believing that for ourselves. Because in the beginning, we've known each other for a long time. But I think you articulated before that, like for you, marriage was like, well, if it doesn't work out, then, we
I got my family.
I got my family. But really sort of like not waiting for the other shoe to drop and be like, this is my person, allows them to naturally fall to the side and be like, oh, that's her person. I got to respect that. That's his person.
What is that relinquishing, guys? Because I think ultimately the crux of it is we're talking about trust. And it's like, what is that relinquishing of trusting this new person that you met that, may hurt you, may not hurt you, because people that love you, parents hurt us and say sorry. So people that you love going to hurt you. But what is that actual relinquishing that allows you to say, you know what? I'm really going to give you full reign and I'm going to truly depend on you.
I'll say this bit. I don't think it can work unless you take that step. If you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, I think self-fulfillingly the other shoe will drop. It's like you can't do it unless you commit to it. even when hurt feelings happen, right? Like my experience of marriage is, other than outside of dating, is when you're dating somebody and they do something what you think is crazy, you're like, I'm done with this, I'm out. Inside the context of the marriage, and people do stuff, it's like, all right, how do we figure this shit out? Because we made a commitment. Now, how do we honor it through rich or poor, sickness, health, better, worse, etc. So it means a little something, because before I would have there's many times I think both of us in the course of 18 years, if we were just dating before, would have been like, all right, you cool, you cool.
Right. But okay, so let's get to, you guys got back together. Those 3 years happened. You guys got back together. What was it that you learned in those 3 years apart that made you say, okay, I got to be with them for good?
I mean, for me, Ryan just felt like home. Like I felt like for 3.5 years I had gone like exploring like the prodigal son or something, you know what I mean? Just to see what else was there. I think I had very little experience, and I thought that, like, I really did think, and I mean this sincerely, and I mean that I don't feel this way anymore. I thought Ryan was crazy. And then I dated more, and I was like, oh no, she's just Ryan. And so, and sort of just gaining an appreciation for all the fire that she brings to life. Because then here's the thing that you're talking about, dating somebody in the industry, Keke. I don't know if you've had this experience of dating somebody from corporate America and just being like,
Yeah, a big snooze fest. Yeah.
snooze,
A freaking snooze.
You know what I'm like, huh? Trying to wake up.
Sorry, guys listening in.
Yeah, I break out in the accents. I do weird stuff, and people are like, "Are you gonna talk like that the whole night?" I'm like, "Is that a problem? Because my baby likes it."
The worst for me is that when you go
that touches my heart.
When you date corporate people and then you're expected to be the entertainment because you can crack jokes.
Girl, like I'm tap dancing on the table for you and your parents. Oh, good Lord.
Baby. And
I'm like, Eddie Murphy at that point. You know what I mean? And it's like, Keke, reel it in, Miss Mamas.
Girl.
Yeah.
Girl. I mean, next thing you know, again, you're like, and then this happened. And you're like, wait a minute. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid for this corporate engagement. Like,
so true.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there like, oh, she's so funny. Oh, are you always? No wonder you're an actor.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not cool. So and again, it definitely helps when people understand auditioning, and they think that sometimes when you're dating somebody who's not in the industry, they don't think you do anything all day. And listen, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes you don't do something all, you know what I mean? I get it. Like when you're in between jobs and you're auditioning, but they don't understand like when you're when you do have to drop and go, and you do get that job, and you have to drop and go to Toronto, and especially when we first got back together, it's like we ain't got no kids. Like I can drop and go, and that's why I'm structured my life like.
And there's an appreciation, like when you meet somebody who's like, "Why you got to leave? I want you by myself." Like I ain't
very much so.
We've never been the couple that needed to hem each other up.
Right.
I want you by my side just took me out, because that is so true. And it's just so not realistic in our world. And again, the fact that you two are so driven, it also doesn't become this thing where, because a lot of times people don't understand that kind of, as an actor, you are, even though it's not considered necessarily entrepreneurship, it kind of is. You are in many ways your own business. Employer. Yeah. So you like have to hustle in a way that you can't clock in and out of. Yeah. When someone doesn't understand that and they think everything is like, they think that there's supposed to be a time out on it, it becomes difficult. Instead of helping you manage it, they like resent you for it.
And there's
very much so.
For both of us, I was like, when an opportunity comes for me, she's like, go get it, Kat. Like, and when I was like, you need to go to New York, whatever, we figure this thing out. Like, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Kids have complicated things a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. There have been more wrinkles in terms of kids.
So let's talk about that. You guys got married. You went through this amazing whirlwind, also self-evolving experience of finding your way back to each other. You get married. You have kids. What are some of the things that helped you? You feel, that you credit to you getting to that point. But then also, what were some of those, kind of rules of thumbs that you learned, like the boundaries that you put in place that you felt have helped your marriage last so long?
We used to have a 6-week rule in the beginning of our marriage. 6 weeks, I think, was too long.
You learn the hard way.
Ooh.
6 weeks is too long to be apart. Like now,
especially for us that are so independent. Because 6 weeks apart, Sterling and I have already reorganized our lives, reorganized ourselves. And it's like, well, who are you? Well, I'm your wife. I'm your husband. What? Oh,
it's more I'm your husband because you be on to the back.
No. You too, because I'll come in.
My name is Sterling.
No,
you remember me, don't you?
I will go to his space.
Come on, sister.
I will go to his space, and he'll be like, did you move my cup? Yeah, it was.
It's always, did you move my stuff?
I had the cup where I wanted it. I'm just, I'm like, it's a cup. Well, it's not just a cup, because I put the cup there because it's easier for me. It saves me 30 seconds in the morning. And now that 30 seconds, I just didn't account for it. I just didn't account for the 30 seconds.
Aries are so passive aggressive. It's like if you don't relax.
This nigga is texting, sorry, I'm still going to be early. I'm just not going to be a minute and 30 seconds early because Ryan is here. Boy, if you don't. So don't say it's just me.
Baby, this is Keke Palmer, yeah.
Okay, so how do you guys prioritize your relationship? Obviously 6 weeks is too much to be apart. Is it date night? Is it couples therapy? Is it, oh, wait a minute, not just nights with the kids, but then we do also have kid night. How do you guys manage some of that, those personal things that, sometimes we have to remind ourselves to do? Or maybe for you guys, it's also managing the ability to also have an individual life.
Here's the most truthful answer we can give you. Still figuring it out.
Yeah.
That's so, I love to hear that.
Truthfully. Because we've tried date nights and then something happens and the routine gets thrown off and then it just sort of goes away. So trying to find it again. I think therapy, first and foremost, has probably been the saving grace of the relationship.
I live for therapy, individual and
so therapy is oftentimes in points of crisis, but hopefully even sometimes just for maintenance.
Mm-hmm. I also am curious it's one thing when you're dating or you're in college, but there's another thing when you're married and you have to see your husband or your wife kissing someone on stage or on screen. How do you grapple with that sometimes?
I've never heard, I'm going to say this, and then you tell me. I've never heard you trip off of anything. Moments where I thought you were going to trip. Mm-hmm. You just been like, oh yeah, good job. The one
Dirty
thing that
Randall. I did not want to Randall.
So there's this episode of This Is Us where Randall imagines his life if he had not married Beth. And so he's sort of out in these streets with a few different people. And she's like, I don't like nasty ass Randall. Walking around.
But I love that she called it Randall and not you. It's the character.
Yeah, she was like, I don't like Dirty Randall was a Q, right? He was a professor at Howard and he was taking down students and everything. And she's like, oh, nasty ass Randall. She didn't like that.
Not like that Dirty Randall storyline. That was hard to watch.
Because it can be hard to watch. That's my thing. Is I always wonder whenever I'm dating, is somebody gonna have a problem if I have to do a sex scene or if I have to kiss somebody or what is that vibe like? And I'm sure you've had those experiences as well, Ryan. But obviously, even in American fiction, we was getting nothing but abs and glutes. And it's how do you grapple with everybody gonna see what my man got going on? What is that vibe?
Sterling has always been an exhibitionist. before we even started dating. So that was in the sauce, girl. If that's not your vibe,
I know that's right.
So I am not an exhibitionist, but I have accepted that about him. The only time Sterling had issues, and I still can't get over it to this day.
Are you gonna tell the story? Because I want to tell part of this story.
To this day, I'm of all
can I tell? Can I do
this?
I
gotta step
up.
Oh
God, please! I want to set it up.
Understand.
Okay, go ahead.
She understands
go
this
ahead.
woman. So I was doing not a short film, a small independent film.
Yeah.
We did not have hair, makeup, wardrobe. We didn't have all, wait a minute. We didn't have all of those things. Yes, Boris was starring in the movie. I was playing, and it was basically a two-hander with just the two of us. Okay, we have a sex scene.
Wait a minute. Wait, let me do this part. Because I like within like, wait, real quick, Keke, within 2 months of her booking this job, I was like, Bert, who would you say is like your celebrity crush? Like, who's
Ooh,
the
this
person?
is so funny.
Like, if you got a chance to hook up with somebody, like, who would it be? She goes, Boris. Now, continue.
Okay, so we don't play those ring anymore because that's dangerous. So we go now. I just want to say, like, there were so many points at which it was not what I thought it was. It was not fun.
Sure.
It was awful. It's him. He's married to Nicole. And now I got to stand there and like stand next to this Adonis. You don't, as a woman, you're used to, working with guys who are like shorter than normal.
Yeah.
And they may be cute, but they're, you're like, I can hang.
Yeah. Boris is a lot.
In walks the sun. In walks the sun. I'm a human. I'm just a normal human. I was like, is this what it's like to work? Who the fuck are you? And he's just, and then he'll speak German and he'll be like, Springer, and then he'll speak Italian and be like, and then he'll spout some Shakespeare and some whatever. And then he'll be like, and I was a tennis player. And you're ready to do the sex? No, motherfucker.
You ready to do the sex? I'm howling at you. Ready to do the sex?
Wait, let me say this.
Wait a minute. I just have to set this up because so we're in this house in the valley in the summertime. I remember being in that mirror and it was a old, those old school 1960s bathrooms. Like it was not redone, not refurbished. And it had mirrors where, and I remember standing in that bathroom for 20 minutes inspecting every single part of my body to tell my it's not that bad. You're not that ugly. You're not that horrible. All it is 40, however minutes of your life. Just pretend that you got this. Like I'm psyching myself up in the mirror.
But that can I don't think people understand. Like you, and also you just said it at the top of us even getting into this. Some people are like Sterling, where it's like, boom, I'm ready to show you what I got. But then there's like me, I'm somewhere in between you both. Like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, but when you might have to show a little skin, or it's like, you've got to be sexy in the sex scene. I'm getting spooked because I don't know how to be sexy. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is me being sexy. Yeah, okay, that's me being sexy. You can't do that in a sex scene with mother freaking Boris Kojo. So it's not the same experience.
So let me say this,
Sterling. I don't think you have a problem with being all charming and sexy and oh yes, it's
no,
me. Like everybody's not like you.
It's fun. But so I was talking to Ryan. She told me, she's like, yo, there's a sex scene in the movie. And I was like, all right, listen. I would say, like, look, don't embarrass the family. Make it look like you know what you're doing in these streets, right? I have one request. I was like, you gonna wear the Band-Aids on the nipples? She's like, yes. I will wear.
I don't remember this conversation.
No, I remember this part. I said, you gonna wear the Band-Aids on the nipples? Said, yeah, I'm gonna wear the Band-Aids on the nipples, right?
Yo.
So I call her afterwards work. I go, hey, how'd it go? She's like, well, it was fine. It was very humid in the room. I was like, all right. And she's like, I tried to put the Band-Aids on and the Band-Aids wouldn't stay. Let me finish my part. The Band-Aids wouldn't stay. And so I was like, oh, so you had naked titties on Boris's chest? And she's like,
oh
no,
my gosh.
On purpose.
That's the thing.
But I did have naked titties on Boris's chest. And I was like, oh.
But this is the thing that people don't understand when you're both actors. Like, what other scenario would you have to have? Like, would your wife have naked titties on Boris Kojo and it have to be okay?
Yeah.
Did you guys like how it came out? Did it look cute?
It looked good.
It looked good. It was a cute movie. It was a very cute movie.
Period.
Very sweet. It was, it was very charming, and it's just.
I think because I'm an exhibitionist, like seeing my wife, I find it when she gets to be sexy and people see her sexy, I'm like, she comes home here. I'm
and it's also like you already know that she's so sexy, so it's like, it's like, okay, Give y'all a little taste.
Yeah.
Give y'all a little taste. So I think I know what the answer is for this already from talking to you guys.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask my final question, which is, if you had to pick one thing that was the key to a successful long-term relationship, what would it be? And what I've seen from you guys, curious to hear what you're going to say, but what I've seen is that you guys really let each other be each other. And you really have such a strong admiration for the other's personality. Like, you get joy out of, like, you guys are friends and you really respect each other as individuals. That's what I've seen. And it's just a very strong bond there. And I love that I got to have this conversation with you guys. So for you, what do you think it is?
That's so sweet, Keke. Thank you for that observation. I appreciate it.
It's true.
No, the bird is the homie. I love her to pieces. To pieces. We also, and people sort of short shrift this, we laugh a whole bunch. Like,
yes.
And even through like difficult things, like we laugh a lot. And I find it a saving grace because, again, before, when I was dealing with people who didn't have a sense of humor, bro, I was like whatever drama, I was like, I'll take a little bit of drama if I get some laughter with it too, because I couldn't, it didn't work well for me. There's always the fallback of communication and like learning how to talk to each other in a way that doesn't put the other person on the defensive. So not come at somebody, but try to come to somebody with something. I think that's good. So that's enough. What you got, Bert?
I echo the fact that you have to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be able to laugh with your partner at yourself, at each other, and not take everything so seriously. And you have to be able to laugh at even things that maybe aren't that funny, but you have to be able to bring a sense of humor and levity to things, or else it's just all, what's that movie with Adam Driver and old girl, and he's just, I can't.
Marriage Story. Marriage Story. Oh my gosh, that was really that was the freak. It was like, oh my gosh, like, get me out of this Marriage Story. Like,
it's
oh my
like
gosh, like, y'all need to get a divorce motherfucking sap. Like, that was so intense.
It was so.
But I mean, Sterling's been saying it this entire conversation where he's just been saying, still figuring it out. And what that also says is that, we're creating our world. We're still figuring out, and that's how it should be. There's not this is the perfect marriage, or this is how it should. There's not that ideology of taking it so serious. And I think that also is a testament, because it's like, we're not perfect. We don't need to be perfect. We're growing and learning, and that's what's making it last, is we not holding each other to unbelievable standards. So, well, I think everybody's got to check out you guys' podcast, which is titled
We Don't Always Agree, Sister.
Yes, because you'll get more conversations like this from Ryan and Sterling. And it has been such a pleasure to talk to you guys about your love story. I know that the listeners are going to have some really great takeaways. And I thank you for being here today. But before you go, we always end with a little fun game. And in honor of Valentine's Day, we're going to play a podcast version of the Newlywed Game. So I have a question for each of you. And while I ask you, you'll write down your answer on a piece of paper. And once you're both ready, you will reveal what's written on the paper. And we'll see how in sync you two actually are. You ready?
Okay.
Let's make sure that's got ink in it.
Yeah,
sometimes that's a little dry. We didn't know we needed props over at home. Yeah, here we go.
Okay. You ready?
Ready.
If Ryan had to pick one character that Sterling has played to go out on a date with, who would she pick? You guys are so fun. I know your kids just have too much fun with y'all.
I can't remember all your characters.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and go.
Yeah, Randall.
Randall, yes. Except not the dirty, not the dirty Randall. Though.
Not
the
dirty Randall.
Everybody loves Randall. I love Randall. He's too good.
It's date night, and you two are going out for karaoke. What is Sterling picking for his song choice? Ooh, this is a good one.
Ooh, you probably wouldn't notice. You may pick one that I'm not. Go ahead, show me.
This is what I think.
3, 2, 1, go.
I like Big
Baby.
He said, wait for it. Baby Got Back.
Baby Got Back is a go-to, but I'm feeling like Wait For It from Hamilton these days is sort of like is a jam.
Wait for it, little musical theater. We love it.
We're both big musical theater people.
Yeah.
What is Ryan's biggest pet peeve about Sterling? 3, 2, 1.
That is bathroom.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Well, wait a minute. Bathroom habits feels also like OCD. So I feel like it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different. It's a little
Are
bit
you actually OCD?
No. She's just like, I eat a lot of brand or what have you. That is it. That's it.
He spends a lot of time in the bathroom, and I wish he could get it. Like, come on.
Okay, like speed it up, please. All right, what is a TV show that Sterling watches that Ryan refuses to watch with him?
You ready?
Okay, wait.
I can't wait to see
the
that.
old one that you used to watch, but there
Oh,
is there another one.
No, I know what you're gonna put.
Put the one that I'm gonna put.
I'm gonna put the
I don't
one
know what
that
you're
you're gonna
watching
put.
now.
Hold on.
And
Oh
then,
my gosh, you guys
but
are so
I'll
funny.
watch this one with you. I just never got into it.
I think you're gonna
I really
put the
love
one
y'all
that I put on the bottom. Okay.
Okay, we have 2 answers. You ready?
And
All right.
here we go. So I got The Last of Us and Breaking Bad. What do you have?
I have Breaking Bad, and then I put Succession because
Oh, well, I love, oh my gosh, I watched The Last of Us, and then I also watched, what was the other one you just said, Sterling?
Breaking Bad and Succession.
Breaking Bad, yeah. Succession I watched as well. I actually don't kill me, guys, but I actually didn't get into Breaking Bad either. I know, that's crazy, right? But The Last of Us I got into, look at his face, you guys.
Listen,
Why he hit me with the...
Walter White, you saved yourself a treat. But in terms of Succession, Lord, she didn't understand because Ryan gets a real particular. I respect her. She's like, it seemed like too many white people. I said, yes, it's a lot of white people.
It does seem like it's not going to be relatable, but it's good.
Bird, it is so funny. Like, because you think it's a serious drama, but like, it's a drama, but it's
kind
like
of funny.
hysterical. How
Yeah,
ridiculous
it's
it
almost
is.
like satirical about how serious it is. But him calling you Bird reminds me of Soul Food. Y'all remember Nia Long? Hey, Bird. Y'all remember that when they would call her Bird? And that reminds me of Soul Food. I just live for the nickname of it all. Anyway, guys, you are amazing. Congratulations on your beautiful marriage, your family, and all your success. The podcast, you guys, we don't always agree. You got to check them out.
Yeah.
And I'll see y'all at one of these Hollywood parties like usual.
Okay.
It's so fun to see
All the
you.
time.
It's so fun.
Yes.
Thank you for this.
You're the best.
We really appreciate it. We really, really.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate it. Y'all are so fun.
Aw.
Good times always, sister. Take it easy.
Oh my goodness, I just love this couple. It was so excited to hear about their relationship. I mean, how they fell in love and just their podcast. I can't wait to get into that. I feel like they have so much wisdom to offer. And I know there's no singular key to making a relationship work and last. But if I had to take away one thing, it would be to remember to be yourself in your relationship. And not spend so much time trying to save the relationship and make the relationship last that you lose it by losing yourself. I know I still have so much to learn, so I'll be back next time. As always, you know it's your girl.
Baby, this is Keke.